If you thought about giving up, this is the sign you asked for. I did not arrive late, I did not forget you, I did not close my ears. I am here now, speaking directly to your heart, and this moment is not an accident, not coincidence, it is fulfillment. I saw when your strength seemed to run out. I saw when loneliness surrounded you in the silence of the night and you believed that no one would ever understand the depth of your pain. But I say, every tear that fell was recorded before me, every suffocated thought, every cry that was never spoken out loud, I heard. Nothing was lost in the void. Everything reached me. I am not a distant God. I am the one who walks with you even when you do not perceive. I am the one who sustains your steps when you have no more strength. I am the one who covers your mind when the weight of anxiety seems crushing. You asked for a sign, you sought an answer, and I say clearly, this is the hour. This is the turning point you longed for. Do not fear, do not step back, do not doubt, because what I declare over you today will be fulfilled. Listen, my child, I do not move by human merit, I move by eternal love. What I prepare for you today is not the fruit of your effort alone, but of my faithfulness. I established a covenant with you, a covenant that cannot be broken by circumstances, that cannot be annulled by the words of men, that cannot be erased by the arrows of the enemy. What I promised you remains alive, even when everything around shouts the opposite. You looked around and saw only closed doors. You looked at the future and saw only uncertainty. But I say, I am opening a door that no one can close. I am removing the weight that seemed unbearable. I'm clearing the path where once there were stones. It is not luck, it is not chance, it is promise. I am faithful to fulfill what I declared over your life. Do not confuse the silence I allowed with abandonment. The silence was positioning. The silence was protection. There were moments when you thought I was not listening, but I was repositioning every piece, aligning every detail, preparing every scene. You thought nothing was happening, but in the unseen I was moving heaven and earth on your behalf. What seemed delay was me holding time to place you in the right place at the exact hour. Do not think your suffering was ignored. I was present in every moment. I saw when the financial burden weighed, when debt seemed to multiply. I saw when sickness rose in your family. I saw when the loss of work brought insecurity to your home. I saw when words of contempt cut deeper than any visible wound. And still, I did not allow this to destroy you. You did not notice, but I stretched out my hand and set a limit. I declared, up to here, but no further. Now, listen carefully. Today begins a new cycle. What seemed the end is only the restart. What was taken will be restored double. What closed before you will give way to something greater, something beyond what you asked and dreamed. I specialize in turning tears into testimonies, defeats into victories, falls into steps for the next level. You asked yourself so many times, why me? Until when? And today I answer, because I chose you, because I set you apart, because I saw in you not only your pain, but your capacity to be a living testimony of my glory. Until when? Until now. The time of waiting has ended. The time of anguish is being transformed into time of harvest. I want you to trust me beyond what your eyes see. Do not look at circumstances as your guide. Look at me, for I am your north. I am your refuge. I'm your provision, I'm your healing, I'm your victory. Even when all signs seem to oppose you, my word remains firm and it does not return empty. Calm your heart. Let me speak to you more deeply. I know your hidden fears, the questions you never dared to say aloud. I know when the enemy tried to sow doubt, when he whispered that I would not come, when he said it was already too late. But I say, it was not luck, it was promise. It was not chance, it was care. It was not forgetfulness, it was perfect plan. You thought you were alone, but you were not. You believed it would be the end, but it was only the beginning of a new chapter. You thought you would not endure, but you already overcame the heaviest part. I was at your side in every step, and now I will lift you into a greater dimension. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not doubt, for I already released victory. Do not step back, for I already broke the chains. You asked for a sign, and I say, this is the sign. This is the hour. This is the moment. Take hold of my word. Grasp it as your answer, because today begins the turning that will change everything. And when contrary winds come, remember, I already calmed greater storms. When fears try to surround you, remember, I already broke impossible chains. When doubt whispers again, raise your voice and declare, I receive, I trust, I believe. Because this word is yours, this promise is yours, this moment is yours. I am the Lord who speaks to you now. I am your Father who loves you with eternal love. I am your God who does not fail, who does not delay, who does not abandon. And before you stands the new, the unexpected, the extraordinary. I open paths in the desert, I make rivers in dry land, and I turn the impossible into reality. This is your time. I saw when the weight of anxiety stole your sleep, when your mind could not rest and your heart seemed to race without reason. I was with you in that silent dawn, when everyone slept, and only the sound of your thoughts echoed inside you. You believed that no one noticed, but I noticed every detail. I saw when you hid the tears, quickly wiping your face, so no one would perceive your weakness. I saw when you smiled on the outside, but inside you were breaking into pieces. No tear passed unnoticed, no restlessness was ignored. Every sign that disturbed you was my call, a gentle reminder that I was present even when you thought you were alone. It was not luck when you escaped that situation that seemed set against you. It was not chance when the door that seemed open for your destruction suddenly closed. It was my hand. I stretched out my strong arm and interrupted the enemy's plan. I did not allow the trap to be completed because I had already written a greater purpose for your life. I protected you from accidents, from words that could wound you even more, from alliances that would only steal your peace. You did not see everything, but I was working behind the scenes, blocking paths that seemed good to your eyes, but would lead you to the abyss. I saw when your heart cried out without words. When in the silence of your soul you questioned, how long will I carry this weight? Does God still hear me? And I say, I heard every unspoken whisper. I heard the muffled cry that no one else heard. I felt the tightness in your chest when you thought you would not endure. I was with you that night when you only wanted to rest from everything, when you thought it would make no difference if you woke up the next day. And even there, I whispered hope to your spirit, preventing the darkness from consuming you completely. No detail of your pain passed unnoticed. I know your hidden battles, those you never shared with anyone. I know the unfair comparisons that weighed on you, the words that diminished you, the looks that judged you without knowing your story. I was there when you swallowed in silence the frustration of not being understood. I was there when your heart burned with shame for the losses, the failures, the mistakes that even today try to shout against your identity. But listen, I do not define you by your mistakes. I do not abandon you because of your failures. I do not reduce you to your falls. I lift you up, I restore you, I call you mine. You thought you had no more value, but I saw a treasure in you. You believed you had no more strength, but I had already reserved portions of grace to renew your energy. You thought your voice carried no weight, but I heard it as a powerful cry before my throne. You believed no one cared, but I cared every second. No moment of your life was indifferent to me. I already had my hand upon your story before you were born. I set you apart, I marked you, I kept you for this time. Remember, when you almost lost everything, I was there. When they said it was impossible to rise again, I was already writing the next chapter. When the diagnosis brought fear, I was already releasing comfort. When the door closed and you felt rejected, I was already preparing a higher way out. It was not chance. It was care. It was promise. It was my faithfulness working in silence. You do not know, but many of the deliverances you experienced were invisible. How many times dangers were diverted from you that never reached your knowledge? How many times the road that seemed ordinary held ambushes that I did not allow to reach your steps? How many times an unexpected call, a delay, a change of plans protected you from something that would destroy you? That was not luck. That was not coincidence. That was me, your father, your protector, your shield. And now I say, do not question anymore the value of your life. Do not doubt anymore how much you are loved. Do not think that your journey was ignored or forgotten. I was in every detail, in every sigh, in every fall, and in every restart. And if until now I have sustained you, it would not be now that I would leave you. My hand was already upon your story even before you thought it was too late. My hand was already there when you thought you were invisible. My presence already surrounded you when you thought no one cared. Therefore, receive this word as confirmation. I never abandoned you. I never left you alone. I never stopped hearing your voice, even if suffocated. I never stopped wiping your tears, even if hidden. And just as I have kept you until now, I will continue to keep you, because your life has purpose. Your story has direction. Your future has promise. How long will you hesitate to trust? How long will you keep carrying burdens that were never meant for you to bear? How long will you allow the voice of doubt to steal the place that belongs to my promise? How many times have you already heard my word? How many times have you already felt my touch? How many times have you already witnessed impossible deliverances and still allowed fear to rise against you? I ask you, how long will you put your trust in what you see and not in what I have already declared in the unseen? Why doubt if before the battle even began, I had already written your victory? Why allow contrary winds to determine your journey when it was I who breathed over your weary bones and brought you back to life? Have you forgotten that I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end? Have you forgotten that the enemy was never in control, that no circumstance has ever surprised me? Your hesitation does not change my promise, but it can delay your enjoyment. What I have already released is not in discussion. It is waiting for your decision to believe. Do not allow doubt disguised as prudence to paralyze you. Do not call caution what is truly fear in disguise. The enemy knows how to whisper false counsel. He will say you need to wait more, analyze more, calculate more. But I say, when I speak, immediate obedience is the path of life. Faith does not wait for human guarantees. Faith does not wait for visible signs. Faith moves because it knows my word never fails. Spiritual time is not slow, it is accelerated. What once took years now happens in days. What once seemed distant is now at the door. And those who hesitate lose the flow of my providence, but those who move forward dive into the current of my favor. How many times have you backed away from the new because it seemed too risky? How many times have you stayed stuck in the past because the fear of losing was greater than the trust of winning? How many times have I gently pushed you forward and you clung to old securities as if what has passed could still sustain you? I tell you today, do not look back anymore. What is past cannot serve the time I have prepared. What looked like stability was only disguised prison. I am breaking chains. I am shattering limits. I am calling you to walk on water. Understand, hesitation is not neutral. It steals opportunities. It weakens faith. It opens gaps for the enemy. When you hesitate, you become vulnerable to deceptions that look like wisdom but are traps. Delay does not come from me. It comes from indecision. I am a God of movement. I am a God of advancement. I am a God of firm steps. And I want to teach you to obey immediately, because your quick obedience unlocks doors that are waiting only for your response. You say, "But Lord, what if I fail?" And I answer you, greater failure is not trying. You say, "What if it does not work?" And I say, "I have already guaranteed the result." You say, "What if I am not capable?" And I declare, "Ability does not come from you, it comes from me." Then why doubt if I myself go ahead of you? Why step back if my voice is your compass? Why fear if I have already determined victory before the fight? I am accelerating time. I am shortening paths. I am bringing the future that seemed far into your present. And in this accelerated move, there is no room for hesitation. Those who try to calculate too much will be left behind. Those who wait for all the answers before taking a step will miss the window of opportunity. But those who trust, who obey, who throw themselves without reservation, will see the supernatural happen before their eyes. I did not create you to live paralyzed by doubt. I formed you to walk in faith. I raised you to be a sign of courage and not of fear. I anointed you to be a testimony of advancement, not an example of retreat. I gave you a voice to declare victory, not to repeat defeats. And today I say, choose trust. Put away hesitation. Renounce fear. Because what is before you is not small, it is not fragile, it is not uncertain. It is a promise sealed in heaven. It is a word decreed with eternal authority. It is victory already recorded in eternity. Do not accept living in pauses. The time of waiting is over. I call you to movement. I call you to the step of faith. I call you to the leap into the unknown, where I myself will be your ground. Do not hesitate anymore. The current of my providence is already flowing, and whoever dives in now will be taken beyond what was ever dreamed. Today, I mark a watershed moment over your life. Listen to my voice. The old cycle has ended. The chains that bound you until now no longer have power. The debts that weighed on you like invisible chains will be broken by the power of my hand. I will open paths where there seemed to be no way. I will reorganize resources, bring connections, place key people in your path. It is not by the strength of your arm, it is by the move of my faithfulness. What seemed endless will come to an end before you, because I am the God who cancels decrees of misery and opens doors of unexpected provision. The financial desert you crossed will give way to springs of abundance. I see your needs, and I know how much you tried with your own hands to change your reality. But today I say, rest, because I am taking control. I will turn what was a burden into testimony. I will show you that your dependence on me is the key to your provision. Do not fear the bills. Do not fear the charges. Do not fear the papers that seem impossible to resolve. I am the Lord, who made manna fall from heaven, who opens rivers in dry land, who sustains with the little and multiplies until satisfied. Today I declare the time of scarcity comes to an end, but the promise does not stop with you. I extend my hand over your family. The sickness that rose against those you love will not have the last word. I am the doctor of doctors. I am the cure that surpasses human medicine. I touch weakened bodies, restore cells, renew organs, strengthen bones. I break the cycle of pain. I undo diagnoses that seemed final. The one who was lying without strength will rise. That tear of despair will be turned into a song of victory. I enter homes to remove the oppression of sickness and bring the atmosphere of my life. And it is not only in the physical. I also restore the broken bonds within your house. I bring reconciliation where there was division. I restore dialogues that were cut off. I transform coldness into warmth, indifference into care. I remove the hardness of hearts that seemed impenetrable and pour out the oil of peace on every relationship. What the enemy tried to use to divide your family will be turned into an even stronger bond. The house that once seemed a battlefield will be an altar of my presence, but it does not end only with you and yours. The favor I pour out now will expand beyond your walls. It will reach the community where you are placed. Many will look at you and say, "How was so much change possible?" And you will answer, "It was the Lord who did it." Thus, your testimony will be a beacon for those walking in darkness. People who did not believe, who mocked your faith, will see with their own eyes the transformation I released upon you. Neighbors who only knew your struggle will also see your victory. They will draw near, not to mock, but to ask you to pray, to share the hope you carry. My move in you will be like fire that spreads. I will touch colleagues, friends, acquaintances, and even strangers who cross your path. You will be an answer in places where before there was only need. Your hands, which were once empty, will be channels of blessing. Your mouth, which once cried out, will proclaim victory. Your life, which once seemed like a story of failures, will be a living book of my faithfulness. And it is not limited only to your time. What I do today in you and through you will echo for generations. I am the God who blesses up to 1,000 generations of those who love me. Your decision to believe, your choice to remain firm, will open the way for children, grandchildren, and descendants to walk at a higher level. Many of them will reap fruits you are planting now in tears. They will walk on grounds you conquered with faith. I establish a spiritual legacy over your lineage, a legacy of blessing, of justice, of favor. Listen, not only will you see change, but your descendants will be marked by my care. Those who are not yet born are already included in the promise I declare today. I will protect future generations from deception. I will guard them from destruction. I will make them prosper in grace and purpose. What was curse in previous families will not be repeated in you. The chain of failures is broken, and your lineage will be known as a blessed generation of the Lord. And those who doubted your testimony, who laughed at your hope, who disbelieved your faith, will see with their own eyes. I will make you a living example, not to exalt your name, but to glorify mine. They will say, "Truly, God was with him. God was with her." And even those who mocked will surrender before the evidence of my work. Today, I mark this dividing line. The promises begin in you, expand to your family, reach your community, and echo through generations. You are not only a receiver, you are a transmitter. You are not only an heir, you are a channel. What I do in you is not small, it is broad, it is deep, it is eternal. So, beloved, receive this decree. I declare over you abundance in place of scarcity, healing in place of pain, reconciliation in place of division, testimony in place of shame, legacy in place of uncertainty. It does not end with you, it begins with you, and through you, it will reach many. This is the escalated promise that today is fulfilled before heaven and earth. Declare now, I receive. Do not wait to feel first in order to believe, because true faith does not depend on what your eyes see or on what your heart feels. Faith is born from the certainty of my word. When you declare, I receive, you are not just speaking a phrase, you are aligning yourself with what I have already released in the spiritual realm. And know this, every word spoken with faith opens windows that were sealed, unlocks doors that seemed blocked, moves angels on your behalf, and breaks decrees the enemy tried to raise against you. Speak aloud what your heart already knows, even when your mind tries to doubt. I am faithful, and I fulfill every word. I'm not a man to lie, nor the son of man to repent. What I have said about you, I will fulfill. It does not depend on statistics. It does not depend on medical reports. It does not depend on human contracts. It does not depend on bank accounts. It depends on my promise. That is why do not be silent now. Lift up your voice and declare before the circumstances, I trust. Say it before the debts, I trust. Say it before sickness, I trust. Say it before loneliness, I trust. Because when you declare trust in the midst of chaos, you weaken the power of darkness and strengthen your spirit. When you open your mouth to proclaim faith, you set in motion what has already been decreed in my throne. Faith is the key that turns the portal of the supernatural. I do not need you to understand everything. I need you to believe. Do not wait for logic to align. Do not wait for proofs to appear. Do not wait for feelings to confirm. Open your mouth, declare, proclaim. Because your word, united with my word, creates a covenant in the invisible that the enemy cannot undo. I have given you authority to bind and loose, and today I say, use your voice. Declare life over what seemed dead. Declare healing over what seemed incurable. Declare abundance over what seemed empty. Do not underestimate the power of a declaration of faith. A single word from you, moved by trust in me, shakes the enemy's structures. When you say, I receive, all of hell trembles, because it recognizes that you chose to trust not in what you see, but in what I say. When you affirm, I trust, heaven moves on your behalf, because the obedience of faith always brings a response. Rise now in faith. Do not allow your mouth to repeat the same words of defeat the world shouts. Align your lips with the promise. Align your mind with my truth. Do not say, I cannot. Say, I receive strength. Do not say, it is impossible. Say, I trust the God of the impossible. Do not say, it is over. Say, I receive a new beginning. Because what you declare with faith becomes seed that germinates before me. And do not declare only once. Make it a rhythm. Declare in the morning. Declare at night. Declare before giants. Declare in the midst of tears. Each time you repeat, it is not empty repetition. It is spiritual reinforcement. Each time you proclaim, you sink roots deeper into faith. I hear every word, and the spiritual realm responds to every decree of trust. I call you today to take practical steps of faith. Do not just think, do not just desire, do not just wait. Declare. Speak aloud. Declare victory inside your house. Declare healing over your family. Declare deliverance over those who are bound. Declare abundance in the midst of scarcity. Declare open doors before every wall. And as you declare, see how chains fall. Remember Abraham. He did not see signs, but still called what did not exist as if it already existed. Remember Joshua. He did not have enough weapons, but still shouted before the walls, and they fell. Remember David. He did not have a sword, but still declared victory over Goliath, and victory came. Faith always declares before it sees, because faith trusts in my word. Today I invite you to change your language. Do not say, I do not know if I will make it. Say, I receive victory from the Lord. Do not say, I have no way out. Say, I trust the way God has already opened. Do not say, I am too weak. Say, I receive strength from the Spirit. Replace the language of doubt with the language of faith, because your mouth can be a source of life or death. And today I call you to release life. And while you declare, realize that you do not speak alone. The Holy Spirit confirms within you that every word of faith has eternal weight. Heaven moves when you speak, because your voice, united with my promise, echoes as an incontestable decree. It is not just prayer, it is authority. It is not just supplication, it is proclamation. Therefore, rise now. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Declare in the middle of imperfection. Declare in the valley. Declare still with tears, because your declaration opens rivers in the desert, brings light to the darkness, breaks chains at dawn. When the enemy says nothing has changed, open your mouth and answer, I have already received. I already trust. I already believe. Today I call you to live by declarations of faith, not only to hear promises, but to respond to them, not only to wait for miracles, but to call them into existence. Because every time you say, I receive, you open a space for my action. Every time you say, I trust, you activate angels in motion. Every time you proclaim, you seal the victory. And so I say to you, do not stop declaring. Do not silence your faith. Do not give your mouth to the enemy. Give it to me. Use your lips to decree life, peace, victory, abundance. Because just as the seed does not grow without being sown in the ground, the promise does not bear fruit without your declaration. So rise and speak. Declare now. Declare without fear. Declare without hesitation. Because the faith you activate at this moment opens windows that were sealed and brings into reality what was already prepared for you. This is the hour. This is the moment. Declare, I receive. Declare, I trust. Declare, I believe. And watch as the impossible begins to move before you. Listen, not every open door is an opportunity, and not every apparent alliance is a blessing. How many times did you believe something was an answer to your prayers, but deep down it was only a disguised distraction? How many times did something look like an easy path, a promising shortcut, a quick victory, but only hid traps meant to steal your peace? Beloved, I tell you, the enemy knows well how to dress up deceptions. He presents shines that have no light. He paints appearances of gold over empty walls. He clothes lies with garments of promises. That is why I will refine your eyes. I will open your discernment so you can see beyond the surface, so you can perceive what is not visible to the natural eye. I give you spiritual discernment. It is not just human perception, it is revealed vision. Discernment is the lamp I light in you so you can see the difference between what is mine and what is a trap. Many have fallen by confusing opportunity with direction. Many were hurt by confusing friendship with alliance. Many lost precious time because they accepted invitations that did not come from me. But with you, it will be different. I will teach you to recognize the sound of my voice among so many voices. I will train your spirit to distinguish the touch of my spirit from the touch of deception. Do not be alarmed if some paths that seem promising start to close before you. Do not mourn if some seemingly perfect proposals disappear. I close to protect, I remove to preserve, I cut to spare. Because if you entered those doors, you would not find rest, you would find burden. If you accepted certain alliances, you would not have favor, you would have prison. I know what you do not see, I hear conversations you do not hear, I penetrate intentions that are hidden, and I, in my faithfulness, preserve you from deception. I will expose the hidden before your eyes. What was a mask will fall. What was a facade will show itself empty. I will show hidden intentions, secret thoughts, concealed strategies. Nothing will remain hidden from you because I give you a spirit of discernment. You will begin to perceive things that before went unnoticed. People will try to approach with double intentions, and I will show the signs. Proposals will come that look like blessing, but I will whisper to your spirit, it is not from me. Invitations will arrive that look like opportunity, but I will say that path leads to loss. And at the same time, when it is from me, I will confirm in your spirit with peace that surpasses understanding. For my peace always accompanies my directions. The enemy tries to generate anxiety and haste, but I guide with gentleness and certainty. The enemy shouts, pressures, forces, but I speak in silence. I lead through peace. Learn to distinguish. What comes from me brings rest. What comes from the enemy brings unease. But there is something deeper I want to reveal. There are sacred moments when the greatest victory is not in speaking, but in remaining silent. I will show you the exact time to act, but also the exact moment to be silent. Because there are situations where words can delay what was already prepared, but silence preserves and accelerates. There are battles that will not be won by your argument, but by my invisible action. When I say be still, it will not be cowardice. It will be divine strategy. When I say advance, it will not be recklessness, it will be obedience. Discernment not only shows what to avoid, but reveals the right timing of each step. And I want you to learn to walk in my timing, not yours. Because many lost blessings trying to run ahead, while others lost miracles trying to hold on to what should have been left behind. The discernment I pour over you will be an unfailing compass, making you walk not in circles, but in straight direction toward purpose. I will expose hidden plans against you. People who conspired in secret will be revealed. Projects that were traps will fall to the ground before they even reach you. Situations that seemed quick victory but hid disgrace will vanish before your eyes. And at the same time, I will connect you with true alliances, relationships of value, partnerships of purpose. I will bring to you people who carry the same spirit, who walk in the same faith, who do not want to drain, but to add. Do not fear when I remove some faces from your path. Do not cry when certain doors close. Do not question when old friendships dissolve. All this is part of my care. Because I do not want to bless you only for a moment, I want to preserve you for the whole journey. Remember, even Judas sat at the table with Jesus, but it was discernment that revealed his true intention. Not everyone who walks beside you is truly with you, but I will reveal, I will expose, I will guard. Nothing hidden will remain concealed before you, because I will illuminate the backstage. You do not need to fear deception. You do not need to walk insecure. I am your shield, I am your light, I am your guide. Walk with your eyes fixed on me, and you will not get lost. When the enemy tries to set traps, I will show you. When he tries to disguise defeats as victories, I will reveal. When he tries to lure you with shortcuts, I will hold your hand. So receive now this discernment. Receive open spiritual eyes. Receive ears tuned to my voice. Receive sensitivity to distinguish what is mine from what is false. And trust, I will teach you to walk at the right pace, to speak at the right time, to be silent at the exact moment. And so, you will not lose what I have prepared. You will not waste what I have already released. You will not fall into the snares that were prepared. Today I declare over you clarity in the midst of confusion, light in the midst of darkness, direction in the midst of crossroads. I am your God, and in me there is no deception. Walk with discernment, and you will see how the traps will dissolve before you, while the path of purpose becomes clearer and clearer. The time has come. Listen with all your soul. What you lost unjustly will be restored double. I saw when opportunities were stolen from you, when doors closed cruelly, when what you built with effort was torn away before your eyes. I saw when they took from you without reason, when unjust words wounded your reputation, when broken alliances left you without ground. Nothing went unnoticed, nothing escaped my sight. And now I declare restitution. Not just simple return, but double return. What was taken from you with tears, I will bring back with abundance. What seemed lost forever, I will resurrect before your eyes. The time of slowness has ended. You thought everything was taking too long, that the years dragged on without answer, that each step was too heavy to continue. I allowed certain processes because I was shaping you, refining you, strengthening you. But now, the season has changed. What seemed slow will be accelerated. What would take years, I will do in months. What you believed would only happen in the distant future, I will bring into the present. Because the time of heaven is different from the time of earth, and today I breathe acceleration over your life. And more. What was hidden will be revealed. I will bring to light hidden secrets, camouflaged intentions, secret plans that were kept in silence. What the enemy plotted in the shadows will be exposed. What seemed against you, but you didn't understand where it came from, will be shown clearly. Nothing will remain hidden. I open the heavens to reveal what was behind the curtains. I bring revelation because I don't want you to walk in deception. I myself confirm it is not the end, it is a new beginning. You thought everything was over, that there was no way out, that you had reached the limit. But I say, what you call the end, I call restart. What you thought was ruin, I use as foundation for a new construction. The ground that seemed collapsed will be the fertile soil for the new I am raising. The desert that seemed endless will give way to a river of provision. The dark night that seemed without end will give way to the dawn of my promise. I have uprooted what was holding you. Chains were broken, ties undone, cycles of failure ended. What once bound you has no power over you anymore. The words of curse spoken against your life were annulled. The contrary decrees were torn. The accusations were cancelled by the blood of the Lamb. I removed the weight of shame. I removed the yoke of debt. I removed the burden of oppression. Now you walk light, because what tied you is left behind. Celebrate because the victory has already been decreed above. Do not wait to see with your eyes to start praising. Celebrate before, because my word has already been released. The decree of your victory has already been written on the throne. The seal of your victory has already been established in heaven. When I say it is done, nothing can undo it. When I open, no one closes. When I declare, no one cancels. Heaven has already confirmed, and the earth will only reflect what is already finished. I restore your honor. I restore your peace. I restore your hope. I restore what the enemy tried to erase. I restore your dreams. I restore your joy. I restore your confidence. I restore the time you believed was lost. Because in me nothing is lost. In me everything is transformed into purpose. I am the Lord who gives back not only what was taken, but gives back greater, gives back better, gives back double. I accelerate your steps. I accelerate your harvest. I accelerate the processes that seemed stuck. I remove the dust from shelved papers. I unlock forgotten contracts. I move hardened hearts. I accelerate diagnoses of healing. I accelerate doors of employment. I accelerate reconciliations. I breathe speed where there was delay. I breathe life where there was stagnation. I breathe movement where there was paralysis. I confirm with signs. Heaven and earth will testify that it was I who spoke to you. The coming days will be marked by visible confirmations, details no one knew, answers you did not expect, encounters that seemed improbable. All of this will be to show you that it is not imagination, it is reality. I myself confirm my word so that your heart may stand firm and not waver. So lift your head. Do not walk bent as if defeated. I have already declared victory over you. The time of shame has ended. The time of restitution has begun. The time of slowness is over. The time of acceleration has arrived. The time of darkness has passed. The time of revelation has opened. This is your time. This is your new beginning. This is your prophetic climax. Celebrate even if your eyes do not see everything immediately. Celebrate because it is already done. Celebrate because it is already reality in heaven. Celebrate because soon it will also be reality on earth. The victory is not a distant promise. It is a present decree. And I myself say, the time has come. I send you strengthened. I lift you up today not as someone who passively waits, sitting in the same place, hoping that something might change by chance. I send you as one who already walks on ground that I myself have prepared. Each step of yours is being established on soil that has already been plowed by my hand. It is no longer time to remain stagnant, looking back, lamenting what has passed. It is time to move, to advance with courage, because the path ahead has already been paved by my Spirit. It is not only about resisting. Resisting was necessary so that you would not be consumed, so that your heart would not be lost in the midst of battles, so that your roots would grow deeper. But now I tell you, it is no longer time to just resist. It is time to advance. It is no longer about enduring until the end. It is about conquering what I have already released. It is not about merely standing firm in the storms. It is about reaping the fruits that were born from the seeds you watered with tears. Beloved child, I do not call you only for survival. You were not created to just pass through life as someone who barely escapes. I called you for abundance, to live in full harvest. The enemy tried to steal your time, your energy, your dreams, but he could not steal my promise. I multiply in you what seemed lost, and what seemed insufficient, I transform into abundance. Where there was hunger, there will be plenty. Where there was lack, there will be provision. Where there was pain, there will be testimony. This moment, this very instant, is the living proof that I have been with you all along. I guided your steps even when you thought you were alone. I protected you in places where you never perceived danger. I held your hand when you thought you would fall forever. I sustained you in the midst of the desert, and now I lead you to fertile land. Everything that has passed was not in vain. Every tear, every sleepless night, every silent struggle served to align you with what I had already planned before the foundation of the world. I now send you as an arrow launched with precision. You will not walk in circles. You will not waste energy on paths that lead nowhere. I launch you in the right direction, on a set course with renewed strength. Your destiny is aligned with my purpose. Your hands will touch what I have prepared. Your eyes will see the fulfillment. Your feet will walk on grounds that were once forbidden. But listen, I do not send you alone. My spirit goes with you. I place in your lips words that no one will be able to refute. I place in your heart a courage that cannot be extinguished. I place upon your life the mark of my favor, and wherever you go, my presence will be perceived. Those who doubted will see. Those who mocked will recognize. Those who underestimated you will be surprised, because it is no longer you fighting alone. It is my power moving in you and through you. I place upon you the final seal of this word. Nothing will be able to annul it. No contrary force will be able to take away what has been released today. Neither time nor circumstances nor voices of unbelief will be able to erase what I have established. This seal is my signature upon your life. It is the guarantee that what I have spoken will be fulfilled. It is the mark of my covenant that cannot be broken. And I send you not as one who fears, but as one who has already been victorious. I send you to be light in the midst of darkness, hope in the midst of despair, a living testimony of my faithfulness. I send you so that where there are ruins, there will be rebuilding. Where there is pain, there will be healing. Where there is death, there will be life. I send you to impact not only your story, but the stories of those who cross your path. Now, beloved child, prepare your heart. What is ahead is not smaller, it is greater. What comes ahead is not burden, it is harvest. What is about to manifest is not little, it is abundance. But for that, walk in faith. Do not look back. Do not carry old weights. Do not stop because of doubt. Advance because I have already guaranteed your victory. Celebrate from now. Sing even without seeing the full picture. Praise even without having all the answers, because your worship opens even more space for the accelerated fulfillment of the promise. I did not give you a spirit of fear, I gave you a spirit of boldness. There is no room for hesitation, there is room for conquest. And when the days come, when the enemy tries to whisper again, remember this moment, remember what I am saying now. Remember the seal I placed upon your life. Remember that what begins here does not end here. Because I am a God of continuity. I am a God who never interrupts a purpose halfway. Therefore, receive this sending, receive this anointing, receive this courage. I send you strengthened, not to survive, but to reign in victory. I send you not to walk alone, but to carry my presence. I send you not to look only to your own life, but to touch generations. And while I send you, I leave something more in your heart. Greater things are yet to come. This moment is only the inauguration of something that cannot be measured. What I have prepared goes beyond what you asked, beyond what you dreamed, beyond what you imagined. And each step you take will reveal more of what is already established on high. So walk, advance, celebrate. Because the seal has already been placed, the sending has already been released, and what begins now is only the prelude to something even greater that is about to manifest.